Yeah, I thought overall good match. I was talking to someone afterwards. You leave some points out there, and so as a coach, you're like, hey, I thought, especially in game two, we made some back-to-back unforced errors, and there were opportunities to better the ball. But I thought, we were really good behind the line the entire match, particularly Ava and Nora really disrupted them. But I think Maddie went on a run, Sid went on a run. So even though they don't have the aces, what we're wanting to do is get them out of system, and I thought we did a good job of that. So Seton Hall's, coming off 3 sweeps. This is not a team that is playing poorly, and I thought, we did a nice job of handling them.
Question?
You double tonight, obviously those 8 aces. What were you seeing from Seton Hall that allowed you to just be firing all cylinders, both offensively and defensively?
Yeah, Adam really takes serving for our team, and he's kind of worked with me on some different types of things, and so they were kind of pinching their outside passer, so it opened kind of like a no-look serve down the line. But yeah, just working on being super aggressive. Like we said, Nora had a ton of aces too, so all around just a really good serving night for our team.
I think the last 4 matches you guys have, I think it's 35-6 in aces, and that was coming out of a St. John's match where you guys got goose egged. Like, what's been different about the last 4? Like the mentality behind the line and also the ability to score.
Yeah, I don't know if anything's been different. I think we're just really working at it. People will stay after and get reps. Like I talked about, we'll work on really specific things in practice. Adam will have us kind of simulate certain situations that we would see in a game. And so, yeah, I just think everyone's been really working hard on hitting specific zones and working tempo. And, yeah, things have been just working well for us.
Yeah, no. You got one?
No, you're good.
Okay. What do you think it does for you offensively? I mean, you guys can already score at a pretty high level considering how much offensive options you have and kind of distributing, but what does it add to how dangerous you guys can be when you can score behind the line? Not 15 aces a night, but 6, 7, 8 in that range.
Yeah, I think getting a team out of system is huge. We talk about that all the time. All these teams are really good in system, but if we can get them out of system, it's harder for them to put a ball away. So that just makes it easier for us. So then we have the opportunity to put the ball back. So
There were a couple moments tonight where there were some key digs, especially trying to run outside the lines and just really keep the rally going. Talk about just the communication in those moments and how you're making sure everybody's on the same page.
yeah, I think our defense was great tonight. Maddie is super vocal in the back row, and so that makes it really easy. But even Seton Hall, they're a very scrappy team. They were making some great digs too. But her communication is huge, and just her fire. It really helps kind of pump you up and like motivate you to want to go get the ball because we know that everyone else is going to be putting their full effort in. But yeah, she's really good at communicating back there.
What do you think allowed you guys to be so clean and efficient in 1 and 3 in particular? It just seemed like even with the serving, the offense also was terminal.
Well, I'm looking at our errors. I thought we had too many errors, but a lot of them did come in set 2.
Yeah.
One of the things we hang our hat on is that we're not going to give away many points. I don't even know if we talk a ton about that with the players, but as coaches, we don't want to, we want to be aggressive, but we've really tried to hone into we got to make smart, aggressive plays, and we're fortunate to have a lot of players that do that well. And I think for us, everything right now is, we're playing other teams, but how are we going to continue to beat the best teams in the country? And we're going to have to score our own points, and we cannot give teams a bunch of points. So, and that's in a whole variety of areas of our game, if that be service errors, reception errors, but obviously offense is going to be a big part of that. So being clean is really, really important for our long-term success.
I'm wondering what you saw in set 2. Obviously there were those errors, but specifically around the timeout where you guys adjusted a little bit. Why do you think that was a little bit tougher of a set compared to set 1?
I even thought this. The errors that we made, they knew what the mistake was, whether it was they just miscontacted, if we got aced, if we didn't make the best dig. I didn't think it was, a scheming thing. Like we weren't in the wrong spot. It wasn't it wasn't that the scout was off or that we needed to make a defense. I mean, we made some small adjustments with Maddie defensively, but we really didn't make, I guess we adjusted you guys slightly on your off block, but there weren't a lot of adjustments tonight. It was just trying to execute at a better level. And I mean, I don't think we said anything profound in the timeouts. It was just, we got to be better.
I mean, what was different from the player's perspective then if it wasn't schematic and it wasn't necessarily anything execution-wise? Why were you able to win 8 of the last 9 rallies when they cut it to 2?
Yeah, I think we just weren't playing our game. We were kind of just making stupid errors that we wouldn't normally do. And like she said, we knew what we were doing wrong. So in the huddles, we'd be like, all right, let's just play our game and focus on controlling what we can and just being the best that we can to finish out the set.
I can visibly tell how much they hate it when I call timeouts. So sometimes when I call it, I think it does kick them into gear because they're like, don't call a timeout.
When you called that one, we all were like, seriously? You're like, just give us one more and
I'd already
put
given
it
you
away.
one more than I thought I should.
Yeah. Fair.
I don't know, having you guys have always a pretty good contingent of alums in the gym rooting you on, because a lot of them stayed local after they graduated. But having Taryn back and her family, what was that like tonight?
Well, we had 2 contingencies of alums. We
Yeah.
had Taryn and kind of some of her best friends in town, which, Taryn's a whole nother discussion of the impact, that she's had post her time at Creighton and what an incredible person. I mean, I just can't say enough about her and her cohort of friends that were here. But then the originals,
Yeah.
the cohort that was the first part of Creighton Volleyball when it started in '94, there was probably 8 or 9 of them, and several of them came in from around the country, and they just picked this weekend. It worked out, and so we just had them all in the locker room. That's what took so long, and they introduced themselves, told a couple stories, tried to make them understand how lucky they are. I mean, one was talking about how they would the crew team would put the sport court down to play on, and then they would have to get up at 4:45 a.m. to get the boats ready for the crew team. And I don't think they've ever done that for the crew team now. So there's been some progress in the program. And I think one of the things that really is cool to me, heartwarming, whatever word you want to use, is how much the alums really are so proud of these guys, and we talk a lot that they're standing on the backs of these women that did those things and got better each year, and so that they're getting to be one of the top teams in the country, and to realize how grateful that we are to all of them.
What does that mean for you as a player to hear from them and honor your legacy?
Well, I think just, like she said, grateful. I think it's super cool that they're still watching and cheering us on, and proud to be a Blue Jay. But also just to see how far we've come. We're just so lucky, and it really puts things into perspective of how far Creighton Volleyball has come. And we wouldn't be where we are without a lot of those girls doing what they did. So, yeah, just super grateful.
Normally for milestones, you're the one, kind of giving the commemorative ball and taking the picture. How did it play out to let the previous record holder kind of pass the torch almost literally?
Well, I'd never met Melissa. She literally had not been back to Omaha since she graduated, and we found out she was coming back. And so I think one of the alums and Angie threw that out, and we were like, oh, how cool would that be for her to be the one to recognize her. So it was, just a really, I think a really cool moment. I don't know if the fans thought it was, but that record stood for a long time.
Yes.
She was part of the original team, that first team.
I guess speaking of records that have stood for a long time, you guys had 15 aces tonight. You guys previously did that twice in '95, so that's predates even you.
Yeah.
And
Even
with the
me,
8,
did you
that
see
was,
me?
that record had been all by itself since 2004 with your 8 aces. So, I kind of asked her this, but what have you seen behind the line the last couple weeks where, it's not just getting teams out of the system, it's actually scoring from behind the line. Like, you guys have been potent back there. Have you seen anything that's different about it?
I think it's repetition, confidence. Like Ava said, it's not that we've changed anything in practice. We're just trying to, Ava knows, the team knows that when we are playing a top team in the country, if we put an average serve in, it's coming down our throat about 90% of the time. So, if we're going to be prepared to play the best in the country, we've got to be good behind the line, and we have to have, the guts, but the experience. It's not just guts because, you can swing it hard and miss every other, or miss, but, we talk about finding that serve that you can hit 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times with tempo. And, some of our players have gotten pretty dang good at it.
In set 3, when I think at 21 points, a lot of girls came off the bench. What does it mean for you as a player to kind of step back and see the game from a little bit of a different angle, because you're not out there and cheer on some of your teammates that might not always be starting?
Yeah, we talk about depth, and we have so much on this team. Every single girl that went in is so talented, and I just think it's really cool that they're able to show how good they are too. But yeah, I'm just proud of everyone because we don't skip a beat, no matter who's in there, because we have so much depth. And so I know that whoever is playing is going to put the ball away and make the play. So yeah, just proud of them.
Anything else?